Alrighty, welcome everyone to the second installment of the Mega Man 2 Randomizer. This is our second qualifier match featuring. We do have 5 racers up and running, but right now we're going to focus on the 4 that are on the screen. Right now we have Charlie Boy, Crowstar, Siberian Bull Knight, and Mad Ewok Herd coming up in a few moments. We're going to have them run in a little single match to see who can gonna be qualifying for a spot in the main Mega Man 2 randomizer tournament, which will be in bracket setup. So this is your boy LV Creed here. Frico is meant to be my co-commentator, but fortunately we hadn't heard word of him for a moment. He may jump in a little later, but if not, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to keep pace and tell you how everything's going to be going. And of course, behind the scenes, who's going to be keeping track of these guys is 2% Chungus, who was our star not commentator, but definitely our star tracker last year. He's going to be manning the helms and going to be doing quite a bit of busy work maintaining all these 4 runners that are on screen here. But of course, before we get started, we just talk about our runners as everyone else is getting ready. So Siberian Bull 9, he's one of our usual runners. He's been around for quite some time. We should expect him to do very well in the qualifying matchups. So I'm expecting him to do very, very well. Matt Ewok, one of our main supporters with the Mega Man 2 randomizer community, just deciding to show his stuff in the qualifiers today. Probably one of our newer runners. So while he probably gonna be trailing behind our runners for a bit, it's good to always see new people come up and just go and try their hands against some of our usual contenders. Next, we have Treble Star, one who actually participated in the tournament last year and done pretty well. He was just doing some de-rusting over time. I was observing him a few days ago. It seemed like he pretty much is pretty much good to try to get going here and just try to make sure that everything is all set and running for his side of his side of the group. And finally, we do have Charlie Boy, who, as people have been following the tournaments from the very beginning, he is our tournament organizer and also a competitor. So, and probably one of the most consistent players in the randomizer community. So we should be seeing Charlie Boy do quite well. He was one of the runners that participated in the qualifier yesterday, but he's going to be doing it once again to show his stuff and see where things go from here. It looks like our runners are ready. I'm going to give us a little bit behind the scenes here and double check to see if our runners are up and ready, and we're going to be getting this underway. So let's see if our runners ready. It looks like we got our runners all ready to go. So with that, it's time to release the floodgates. So yeah, with all that in mind, before we get to our meat and potatoes of the thing, we're gonna describe what is actually randomized in this randomizer. So we have a small little saying in that whatever isn't we yeah, whatever is randomized is randomized. It is easier to count what isn't randomized. So in general, it's bosses, boss AI, the weapons you get from the robot masters, the weaknesses against the robot masters, the weapon attributes, music is randomized, the positions on the state select screen is randomized, colors, even some cosmetics like the introduction screens. Everything is completely randomized. And in some cases, with a mind being scattered, yes, sometimes commentary can be randomized as well. But seriously, we're good to go here, and everyone is on the run here. So we got 3 quick man and a single flash man. Of course, right now for these qualifier rounds, the setup is currently we do have stage screen select on rather than hidden. So in regards to routing the randomizer run, and Charlie Boy checking the walls for the crash walls, checking to see if it was Buster. Unfortunately, it is not. The crash walls is also a randomized attribute, and Matt Ewalker taking an unfortunate death to the force beams. A little bit of a rough start, and he's going to decide to reset and hopefully go for a different stage. Oh no, he's just going to reset just to get himself refreshed. But yeah, with stage names on, there you're gonna be pretty much seeing a more focused route. As you can see, you see 3 quickmen and 1 flashman on the screen. Those are usually the general stages that you will go through when you see stage select on, because they are fairly short stages, very easy stages in a comparison sense. They also have easy to get E tanks and just pretty much good stages, good starter stages. You might also maybe see someone go to metal first because those have a couple of quick eatings to get, as we see a Crash Man in Flash Man's room, pretty much taking care of very. Ooh, when we get an early item 1. Once again, the items are randomized amongst the Robot Masters as well, so you do not know in any given scene which item will pop up. Having item 1 early is really good. And we got a really interesting Woodman. Once again, reminder, the boss AI and their attributes are randomized. So what you saw was what I like to call a false start leaf. Well, it is the false start leaf shield, where the leaf shield actually moves a little early before it's actually able to fire. Those are usually some of the more agonizing Woodmen to encounter. So we got Siberian Bull going to metal, where looks like we have some Buster Immune fan fiends. And he decided to go equip the Atomic Fire, which does have the randomized attributes. Remember, weapons do have randomized attributes, but Atomic Fire looks like it's pretty standard. So, of course, with a standard Atomic Fire, it's going to be charging before you're able to fire. And under some aspects, you can actually fire a full charge Atomic Fire right off the bat. Unfortunately, as Siberian Bull is experiencing, it's not one of those. It looks like we got a good item 1 on Charlie Boy's then, making sure he gets the bubbles there, using it. Once again, the only item between 1, 2, and 3 that is randomized is item 1. So item 1 has a randomized attribute for how high it rises and how long it stays out. It looks like it's a very good item 2 to use, and especially with the categories being true enter percent, which does allow zips. That's going to be pretty helpful for Charlie Boy to navigate and go through a lot of the stages. Trouble Star being Crashman on his end. Bad Ewalker, after some struggle, is about to face Woodman in Quickman's room, and Charlie Boy quickly dispatching a Velcro Airman, which I would like to always call him when he clings to the ceiling in Bubble Man's room, and dispatches him quickly. So at this point, I don't recommend doing zips in this stage, not with the fan fiends around, because one of the things that will be worrisome, especially with zips and the randomized enemies. Dang, I was so focused on the other 2. I didn't get to see the box in a metal room. Of course, we'll see that later on Charlie Boy's and Trouble Star's end. But yes, the fan fiends has a very, very troublesome trait when you're trying to zip. And the trait is that if you actually try to zip, the fan fiends will actually negate our runner's movement and zips across the screen. And that's very dangerous because of the simple fact that if they get stuck while a fan fiend is still on screen, they will have no forward progress and they will be in a soft lock position. So the fact that they were smart enough to just ignore doing the zip and just keep going normally was very wise on both these guys' parts. As you see Siberian Bull pretty much treading familiar territory and going to Flashman, Matt Ewok her unfortunately getting the game over in the Woodman fight and decided to just go to Bubble Man to try to get himself a Robot Master defeated. So we're gonna have Charlie Boy being the first between Trouble and himself going to the boss room for Metal Man. Of course, while Metal Man might not be in the room, the conveyors are still active, but they're only going to be in one direction if Metal Man's not in here. And we have a Flashman sighting, and it looks like he's not a Buster Weed fool here. And like I said, since Metal Man's not here, the conveyors are only going to be stuck in one direction. So you're going to have to worry about that as Siberian Bull takes out Crashman and gets his item 1 to boot. So Charlie Boy, after being Flash in Metal's room, is going to see Airman stage. And Airman stage is actually one of the more dangerous stages to navigate, and we do not have a good enemy set already. Thank you. That's what's good about having chat around, pretty much picking up the commentator slack when trying to keep track of 4 players on screen. So yeah, so looks like Matt Ewok heard game over somewhere else before going to Bubble, if not game over on Bubble Man himself to reset his lives. But yeah, these fan fiends make it really, really difficult to traverse Airman stage. One of the rougher general enemies to see, period. And the fact that they are Buster immune just pretty much just makes them one of the high level threats in the entire randomizer scene. So you don't want to see them pretty much anywhere else in the rando. Troublestar also getting the bubble zip, traversing Bubble Man stage. We got 3 players on Bubble Man stage right at the moment. So we got Siberian Bull being the first one to get into the Bubble Man room of our current 3 players. He's about to get our not Woodman, we did Woodman already, our Airman sighting, our Velcro Air, sticking to the ceiling spikes. And of course, that makes the fight very, very dangerous. But fortunately, he is a Buster Weak individual. So keeping in line with the original Mega Man 2 standard, there are 4 Robot Masters that are soft weak to the Buster. So of course, we're doing easy mode for the sake of accessibility for all of our runners and players. Each soft robot Each Robot Master that has a soft weakness will yield 4 points of damage with the General Buster. So finding those enemies early is very essential and very good as far as trying to figure out our randomized weaknesses as they traverse the rest of the game. Oh, so we got a Heat Man on Airman stage, and it looks like he's also a soft Buster weak character as well. He's also one of those ones you don't want to be a standard damage boss, because that'll make the fight very, very long. Also, we've seen a lot of Time Stopper uses from our runners. The thing about the Time Stopper is that it also has a slight of a randomized weapon attribute. The time that the flash stays active, as well as if it's like a full drainer like a vanilla or a partial drainer, is one of the major randomized attributes for the Time Stopper. And it looks like is one of those that actually has a short duration for a given amount of weapon ammo, which is, if you want to make a comparison, it's kind of similar to the Flash Stopper, Brightman's weapon in Mega Man 4, in that it has a time duration per freeze. But anyway, we got Siberian Bull traversing a very annoying Airman stage. And Matt Ewalker going through an equally annoying metal. Look like you're gonna game over to probably try to go to another stage so we can find something that can take care of those fan feeds, if not just restart the stage as a whole. Meanwhile, we got some new territory from our Rangers Trouble Star here going to Woodman stage. And of course, we have to remind you this in this qualifier race, zips are allowed. This is true in the percent. So if he has item one already, he can actually try to attempt good wood here. And take a look at that pause screen. He does have item one. And we saw from Charlie Boy's in that it's a potentially decent item one. We could see a first attempt of the good wood zip, which is probably one of the most intense zips in Mega Man 2, and that you're gonna need to actually try to recognize a bit of Woodman's stage layout in order to navigate the zip completely. So we got Woodman dispatched on Charlie Boy's end. We got Heatman dispatched on Siberian Bull's end. And Matt Ewalker is following suit on Treble Star's heels, trying to do Woodman stage in lieu of a very annoying, a very annoying metal. And Treble Star right now, so far so good on the good wood. Gonna keep focused on Treble Star here as he's gonna do the Buster version of the good wood zip. Usually, if you have quick boomerang available, you would use that as an easier method to try to get the second major zip that gives you the good wood. He's almost there. One more attempt, and there we go. Good wood on Treble Star's end. Very well done. Meanwhile, Charlie Boy is doing the first screen zips and crash. Oops, a little bit of Everdrive shenanigans here. But yeah, very well done with our zips between Treble Star and Charlie Boy here. You doing the crash zip to ignore the elevator rooms that actually would have been very annoying to deal with. Because the thing about the elevator rooms is that if you actually pay close attention to the very first screen in Crash's stage, you can actually anticipate which enemies are going to be in those three moving platform rooms. And you saw there were a lot of frogs on the very first screen. While frogs in and of themselves aren't too bad, the fact that this is still an NES Mega and lag is very, very apparent. So imagine seeing three frogs on screen, each of them spewing three small tadpoles. That's pretty much 12 sparks on the screen that lags the area up big time and makes traversing the area very, very slow. So with the good on one that Charlie Boy used, he's able to completely ignore those three screens and just pretty much just save quite a bit of time. Treble Star experiencing some of those Lactarian shenanigans right now. Using item 1 to try to do the heat zip that you would normally have item 3 for. It's slow going, but he looked like he missed it. Yup, he missed it, so he looks like he's gonna try it again. Meanwhile, we got a Metal Man sighting in Crash's boss room. Looks like there's gonna be a match between Charlie Boy and Metal, as Charlie Boy is starting to win the damage race, but Metal Man's keeping up. But the true veteran that he is, Charlie Boy is able to out DPS Metal Man, and he's on his way to his next Robot Master, which is gonna be Woodman. Speaking of Woodman, it's Bubble Man that we find in Woodman's room, and it looks like a pretty standard bubble. And checking out weapons, air shooter is pretty good on Bubble Man. Siberian Bull taking them out very quickly. And it looks like that's where we find our item 2. So with item 2 in hand, we've got Siberian Bull going straight to Heatman. Luckily, with item 2 not being locked in it, so unless he decides to use the item 2 a little earlier, he can use that item 2 to ignore the Yoku blocks down along the way. Charlie Boy and Treble Star both taking a couple of quick deaths here. in Woodman and Heat respectively. Matt Erocker still toughening it out, a bit of a slower pace, but he still has his number of Robot Masters defeated and is right in the mix, very close to the Flashman boss room where he's gonna deal with Crash. Speaking of Crash, he's trying to check the wall weaknesses. Once again, the wall weaknesses are random, so you don't know what weapon is going to be found to destroy those walls, and that's going to be very important for the blue beam, depending on what weakness the blue beam is. But that's going to be later on. Siberian Bull deciding to huffing it. Of course, Siberian Bull. While yes, this is any percent where we have zips allowed, Siberian Bull is actually a zipless runner. So we're clearly going to see Siberian Bull forego a vast majority of the zips here. And yes, he does indeed decide to use item 2 early. So he's going to ignore all those Lagphibians, but it's also at the cost of doing the Yoku blocks legit. But Siberian Bull, being the veteran of the Mega Man 2 Rando as is, and the fact that the Yoku box, thankfully, is not a randomized element in this. This is pretty much just a vanilla romp across some vanishing blocks, and he should be very, very close to Heatman state, the Heatman's boss room. Looks like Charlie Boy was not able to get the good wood as he decided to do the stage actually legit compared to Trouble Star when he was actually able to do the good wood. So that's gonna be some time that Trouble Star can save on Charlie Boy. Not to mention he also successfully, well, never mind. I was gonna say he successfully did it, but ooh, he came over. He must have miscalculated his lives that he had. So he game overed trying to do the crash zips, and now he's gonna have to do the crash stuff all over again. Was there a tactical game over on his part? Maybe. We'll never know what's in his head, as we know what's gonna be on Proto Man's head, or on Charlie Boy's head, and that was Bubble Man's flippers on Proto Man's dome piece. As Charlie Boy takes the death on Bubble Man. So, just a little bit of insight on our sprites that we're using, because actually we got all 4 sprites available on the screen right now. So for the Mega Man 2 Randomizer, we actually have sprites for Mega Man, Proto Man, Roll, and Bass available to our runners, and it's actually really good that all of our runners are actually displaying each and every sprite that's available. So for our viewers, that's a little bit of variety there. So you get to root for your favorite character in this rando race. Ooh, and Charlie Boy is showcasing one of the exclusive randomizer zips, because normally item 1 would be locked in Heatman stage in vanilla, but since we have item 1 already available, you can actually use item 1 in a specific area of Heatman stage and use item 1 to actually zip and forego half of the first several screens of Heatman stage. So very well executed on Charlie Boy's end, as he's trying to do the second zip again with using item 3. A little bit of a struggle there. There we go. I was about to say he was still struggling, but he was able to get the second zip. Meanwhile, Trouble Star, finishing off Crash Man stage, decided to go to the other side to make sure that his lives are topped off. Trying to utilize item 2 to zip across the rest of the... I hope people ain't hearing that. The joys of streaming in a household. But anyway, we got Trouble Star back to face the battle. We're about to see who's in Heatman's room. This should be his final Robot Master, and our forearm Robot Master on Charlie Boy's end is Quickman, who is also a Buster Soft Weak individual. So this should be a very quick fight with the Buster. And there we go. We got all 8 Robot Masters down on Charlie Boy's end at around 920. And there we go. One of the most famous sounds and the most famous eyebrows in video gaming. Charlie Boy is the first to navigate Dr. Wily stage. And of course, by that time, for those that are familiar with the Mega Man 2 randomizer and definitely been around during the tournament scenes, we got a game that we always like to play for the viewers out there. Guess the color of the Mega Dragon, and of course, for those delightful extra credit points, guess that weakness. So, of course, I want to see those guesses all in the chat as Charlie Boy begins to go through Wily 1 in earnest. So, of course, since I'm the only one that has a little bit of a stake as commentator here, let's hope for a true blue, one of my classic combinations, a true blue dragon with a true blue weakness. So we're hoping that the dragon's gonna be Buster weak. So for those that are unfamiliar with the randomizer, specifically for the Wily bosses, the Wily bosses has a percent chance, probably around basically 50-50, either it is or it isn't, that the Buster will be a part of the weakness set for each and every Wily boss, and it will never be immune. It will never be weak to the time stopper. So you never have to worry about using flash for anything. Oh boy, this is a nasty. Oh, that was a nasty ladder setup. The rabbit was just right there ready to snipe Charlie Boy. And we got Siberian Bull right on Charlie Boy's heels, our second person to go through the start Wily 1. Charlie Boy running on fumes as he's going to be the first to face the Mega Dragon. And that is a very pink dragon. Very baby bop for those that know their 90s children's shows. Anyway, I'm completely out of it. Buster was immune. So now we're digging for weaknesses. The Mega Dragon has 2 weaknesses, and right now the dig is still on for Charlie Boy. Looks like we got ourselves a metal weakness at the very least. Charlie Boy, you gotta be careful! Charlie Boy just touching the feet of the fire. He could not sustain any enemy. Unfortunately, gets burnt to a crisp, and now gonna have to do the entire second half of the Wily 1 all over again. But now it's Siberian Bull's turn, and now he has the very big advantage over Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy's taking the death, and he's on the right pace for a good kill. He does find the Metal Blade weakness, but he also can't take very much damage as well. But fortunately, Siberian Bull does defeat the Mega Dragon, and now he's on the driver's seat. Right now, in the lead over our current runners that are on screen. Troublestar defeating his 8 Robos, starting to go to Wily 1. Meanwhile, Bad Ewalker is trucking along, taking his revenge on the metal stage that was really annoying with some Buster and Mew fanfiends, and just slowly making his way to the metal room where Flashman awaits. Siberian Bull making sure that he's able to cross the spike pit with item 2 safely, doing so very wisely. So let's see, is he gonna search for? Nope. If he hadn't already checked for wall weaknesses then, he's definitely ain't doing it now, and he's gonna have to wait until he reaches boobing to check for wall weaknesses, which might not even be a thing depending on the weakness for the boobing, but we'll talk about that a little later. Meanwhile, Charlie Boy is taking his revenge on the Mega Dragon, following on Siberian Bull's heels. But this is not that much of a gap. Pico Pico is one of the more dangerous enemies in the rando. High damaging, and the weaknesses can be pretty brutal if he gets caught with an unfortunate weakness. But let's see, is this a Pico that's gonna be weak to Buster? Nope, so the digging remains. Oh, but we find ourselves a god weakness in the leaf shield. One shot. So all you gotta do is just have the Picos come to you and they just die on the spot. Literally like a bug to a bug zapper. Of course, there are other weaknesses for the Pico units as well, as our lovely toasters have three weaknesses to find. But if you find a least shield weakness or any weakness that one shots, you're pretty much set, as Siberian Bull easily takes out our Pico units and just continues on to Wally 3. Charlie Boy is our next one to come into the fight. We're gonna see if he finds the least shield or finds something else to use. Meanwhile, we got Trouble Star finding the Metal Blaze for the Mega Dragon, but he needs to be able to stay on top. Be sure to keep that balance. There we go. Trouble Star is on his way to Wally 2. So Wally 3 can be deceptively hard depending on the random enemy stat, but looks like the enemies are very kind. And one of the interesting things, especially while we have a new version of the Mega Man 2 randomizer that's been recently released thanks to a handful of community users taking it off the hands of our original creator, Duckfist, all the lag that is in the water are actually gone. There is no more lag underwater. Also, as you can see, there are actually no more flashing effects in Mega Man 2 anymore. So as you can see on Charlie Boy's end, normally there would be like some flashing victory animations. Those are all gone. So for those that have trouble with flashing lights, you can actually play the randomizer now. All the flashing has been removed, or at least all the extreme flashing. Yes, the new version of the Mega Man 2 randomizer has quite a number of quality of life improvements. So hopefully those that kind of have some issues with the Mega Man 2 rando can get in. Not to mention, once again, these are qualifiers. So anyone that are willing to join, it's an open invitational for anyone to join. So if you're willing to just try your luck to try to make it into the main bracket, or just want to just have fun and just see what you got with a given particular seed giving during a given qualifier, feel free to show up. Just follow the Discord, and we are always welcoming you. We always welcome new people with open arms. As we got a guts tank sighting on Charlie Boy's end, Siberian Bull long past that, already halfway done with Wily 4, coming to our anxiety rooms, where we got a boatload of shotmen that's probably Siberian Bull kind of misdirected his jumps. Oh, he got clocked by shotmen! And this is why Wally 4 is usually the great equalizer, the great educator, because if you don't know what's going on in those anxiety rooms, you will get schooled and get schooled hard. And yes, that is Final Fantasy IV music that you are hearing. One of the great things that we have in this randomizer is that we have a full cavalcade of randomized tracks, ranging from vanilla tracks to custom tracks that came from Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 1 ROM hacks. So the theme you're listening here is indeed Final Fantasy IV, which came from another Mega Man 2 ROM hack. I want to say it was Mega Man Rockman Abnormality. It was either that or Unprecedented. I can't really remember which, but it was definitely used for Crashman stage. Siberian Bull getting his revenge for these anxiety rooms on his way to Blue Beam. So the thing about Blue Beam, you remember in Vanilla that the walls and the Blue Beam turrets themselves all are weak to one weapon. In this rando, though, aside from the crash walls being weak to a different weapon, that weapon will never ever be the same as the Blue Beam turrets. So once you find the crash wall weakness, you can already exclude that from the weaknesses for the Blue Beams, but that still leaves the matter of finding what the Blue Beam weakness is. And right now, Siberian Bull is trying to figure that out right now. Troublestar going to the Gust tank. Charlie Bull was trying for the Wily 4 zip into the Blue Beam room. Unsuccessful, so he's decided to hoof it to the false door. So looks like we find that heat is our weakness for the Blue Beam turrets. I did not get this. Oh, if Siberian Bull is using what I think. Ooh, bubble walls. Bubble is one of the worst weaknesses for walls because the hitbox for the bubbles and for the walls is so janky. You almost never want to see bubble walls, especially during the Blue Beam fight. Charlie Boy finding that out just as quickly, but he's still a couple of turrets behind Siberian Bull for trying to catch the lead. But right now, we're still at the point where any significant mistake and the lead can change between Siberian Bull and Charlie Boy. So between these two runners, this is going to be a very heated match towards the end where the refights can be very, very brutal depending on the knowledge they gain from fighting each and every Robot Master. So it can literally just swing leaps and bounds depending on their ammo usage, the routing they go, the knowledge, the weaknesses that they already have if they have maintained it. There is quite a bit of variance into how the final stretch can go. And right now, we're just pretty much just one Robot Master split between these two. So this is pretty much going to be it between the two runners. It's going to probably come down to refight execution to see who's going to be winning between these two runners. Meanwhile, Star is still keeping pace, still on Wily 4, going throughout anxiety rooms. Just a few screens away before his Blue Beam fight. Meanwhile, Matt Ewok is still going at his pretty solid pace. Got most of the Robot Masters down, but he has to deal with a very, very annoying airman stage where these fan fiends are, they're not kind. They're not kind at all. Both of these guys going through Flash, man. Oh, Charlie Boy taking a death on Flash. That is a very, very costly death. Gotta do the whole fight over again. But right now, Siberian Bull, he gotta make sure that he's pretty much top on health. Getting that energy refill, make sure that he's good to go for the next fight. So it looks like we probably got about 2 to 3 Robot Master advantage on the refights between Siberian Bull and Charlie Boy. So right now, Siberian Bull is in the driver's seat, and he is just pretty much, yep, he got one Robot Master left to defeat, and that is going to be Crash. And Crash is not the strongest of boys. So we got the first one to go to our Wily machine. Is it Buster Week? And it's Buster Week. Surprise, surprise. So the thing about the Wily machine is that if it's Buster Week for the first phase, it is Buster Week for the second phase as well. If it was Buster, I mean, they would have to cycle through quite a number of weapons, one of which can actually be immune between phases and had to dig through weaknesses that way. But fortunately, you didn't have to worry about it, and just pretty much pew pew, you die. So we got Siberian Bull first going through what we like to call Victory Road here. And he's about to see what color it is going to be and what that weakness is going to be. But he's still got to be careful. Charlie Boy is still running his heels, and one costly death can pretty much just put it completely even or swing the tide in Charlie Boy's favor. But I don't expect Siberian Bull to drop this match, but who knows? Oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Stone. People in Charlie Boy taking a death on the Wily machine and getting a game over in Siberian Bull. GG to Siberian Bull. First place, official SRL time of 34 minutes and 15 seconds, making him officially qualified for our bracket stage. GG to Siberian Bull. trying to keep pace with our runners. You're probably going to try to get all of our boys in once both of our for interviews once both of our runners are finished with their runs. But meanwhile, the fight for second place is on. Charlie Boy taking that game over allowed Trouble Star to creep up back in there. And now he's on top of Charlie Boy, stride for stride here. And he's got 3 Robot Masters remaining. Charlie Boy, following on the same side as Trouble Star, he has 4 left. So Trouble Star right now in second place. So yeah, keeping track with our runners. Matt Ewok Herd, you gotta love the grit on Ewok. As rough as the seed was, he still is able to get to the Wily stages, beating all his robot masters, and now he's in where everyone else is in the Wily stages. Meanwhile, Cripple Star, our next runner to take on the Wily machine, thought he could get a quick one, checking to see if the clip boomerang was the weakness, but he knows that now that it's all busted, but he has no E-tanks, and he's low on energy. Oh, nasty death from Crabble. Charlie Boy now has the advantage, but we're not quite entirely sure on Charlie Boy's E-tank situation. But if he can out DPS, there we go. Outmatch that Wily machine, and we finally get it going. Trouble Star is following right behind him. So it's gonna pretty much depend on if you want to go for weapon energy and actually weapon weaknesses. And Charlie Boy's gonna go for the zip. He's gonna go for the Wally 6 zip, and so is Trouble Star. Both of these runners are gonna see. Oh, Charlie Boy's trying to possess it for the zip. Charlie Boy struggling trying to get the zip in place. Trouble Star, is the item one good enough? The item one is good enough. Charlie Boy is able to get the crash zip. Trouble is able to follow suit. It's probably going to depend on where they're going to dig for their items. I ended up missing what the weakness was on Siberian Bull's end. Trying to keep track of everything, but it looked like, is it metal? It's metal! Metal was the weakness, and Trouble Star is still on the first page. So it's gonna be a while before Trouble Star is able to find the metal as Charlie Boy takes second place with a official SRL time of 37 minutes and 43 seconds. Woo-hoo-hoo. Trouble Star coming in, closing it out. He gets the GGs. He finishes it out as well. Third place goes to Crabble Star with a official SRL time of 38 minutes and 4 seconds. What a finish between Charlie Boy and Crabble Star. That was amazing between our 3 runners, but not ignoring Matt Ewok Herd, because Matt Ewok Herd is still duking it out. He's still going for it. He's still trying to complete the seed. Props to Matt Ewok Herd for continuing to stick it out. And it looks like we have a few people that might have got into the Discord call. So how you doing, Stubborn Bone and Charlie Boy? How's life treating y'all too?
That seed was rough. I assume everyone had trouble with Airman stage. That's what I'm going to assume here.
Nah, that wasn't even that bad for me.
That went that bad for you. Just having.
No, everything else went bad for me. That went
okay. Okay, but no, those fan feeds not being immune to just about half the weaponry did not help.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, about this seed, those fan fiends, they were quite all over the place.
Not only were they old, yeah, it kind of had to do, I guess, our own way of going around it, but I kind of just stuck with it.
How about you, Charlie Boy?
Sorry, what was the question?
It was about the fan fiends that was just littered throughout the seed.
Oh, I mean, usually fan fiends don't bother me too terribly bad. I have a few different strategies, somewhat that I use that I'm kind of comfortable with, so I don't really let them bother me too bad, right? I guess compared to others. However, yeah, I mean, they were pretty much a good amount of places for sure, and Buster Immune. That kind of made it rough for sure.
Let's see. Let's see. I tried Buster. I tried Heat. I tried Air. I think I had Crash on them. It didn't work. I ended up finding Metal worked on them, but I got so late. It was almost. It was pretty much moot at that point because I was already in Wily's. I was already in Wily's stages.
I think I used Crash on them. I thought Crash worked. I don't know. Maybe.
I guess Well, I guess I lied there. Okay. Anyway, I tried a number of weapons and none of them worked. So I was either damage boosting my way through them, or when I got to Airman stage, using a combination of Item 1 and Flash.
Yeah, something for sure. Yeah, no, I don't know. For Airman stage, I basically just Item 1 to open the fan guys. I used Flash Stopper a couple times, but
yeah, I did.
That and E-Tanks. Item 1s and E-Tanks, baby.
Yeah, I made the before I even ran to the first one on Metal stage where I went, I believe, second. I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna ignore the E-Tank here in the early part and just see what happens. Ended up consuming my my E-Tank for quick fit stage, and I've been bare, and I was bare ever since then. I died multiple times. I've been hovering on 0 lives when I got to Wily stages.
Speaking of Wily stages, it was really close between you two. It actually got to the point where y'all were pretty much stride for stride when y'all both were in Wily 5. And of course, Charlie Boy, you just happened to have a little more bad luck compared to Siberian Bull when it came to the refights.
Oh, you like that, did you? Tell me about it. Yeah.
I got sniped by the first shotman in the first screen of Wily 4. After that, I say, you know what, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way.
And welcome, Travel Star, to the booth. How you feeling about your seed as you were going through the race?
The only thing I can say, I was not a fan of the fan guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah, like as soon as I got in air, I thought, okay, I got what 3-4 weapons. I think I'm good for those guys, and it just had to bail out. And yeah, it's new to play this with zips though. Like I played it before, but not in the tourney context. It's pretty fun, and I have to say I just tried 0.6 version yesterday, so it's still pretty new to me. Like in the water, I actually had a death in Wily 3 because of that.
Yeah, that will get you the first couple times you play it. So you're like, oh wait, it's a little bit different than
Yeah, a little bit of adjustment.
All I can say is, someone who doesn't zip, I'm just glad I got the Buster only zip in Bubble Man stage.
Oh, nice. I actually missed it, like by maybe like a pixel or two.
So yeah, that's at least the one zip I knew I needed to be getting because of the non-laggy bubble water. Because yeah, I probably would have bumped my head on the spikes there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, not going ahead. This is y'all's time.
All I was gonna say is, yeah, like pretty much, I had a pretty decent robo stages, but yeah, started eating mess when it come down to Wily 1, and then like had a close call in Wily 2, but I made it. 3 was kind of rough, but
yeah.
Wily 4. I made it barely, and then like Wily 5 and died.
Yeah, the close one and Wily 1. I was pretty much. I don't know off the top of my head how much a fireball from the dragon does, but I was at 4 dots of health, so I ended up having to play hopscotch with the dragon just to get him down.
I couldn't mash fast enough against the dragon. What'd you guys use? I used metal.
Metal.
Couldn't mash fast enough, man.
I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about mashing. I just had to dodge and make sure I didn't get killed.
Yeah, I just didn't want to kiss him either. It's the same thing.
I was, like I said, I was with 4 dots of health, and I had no lives, so it would have been all the way back to the bottom.
Oh yeah, that would have been super rough.
So yeah, with everything said and done, Siberian Bull, this is still your race. Congratulations on your victory, and you are going to be one of the potential 8 runners that are going to be vying for the main Mega Man 2 randomizer tournament. You have secured a brackets position.
Yeah, I was honest, not gonna lie, as someone who, like I said before, isn't usually a any percent runner, usually a zipless runner. I kind of stole this one from you guys.
Yeah, you did, dude. You did really good. Like when I saw your time, I was just, whoa, he did pretty good there.
I get all I can say is I must have made the right decisions at the right time, aside from here and there. But there are better decisions overall. It looks like.
Yeah,
All right.
unlike me.
All right, so we're gonna have to cut it short here because we do have something that is coming up very, very soon on SE3. So be sure to stick around for what's coming up, which gonna be some link to the past rando action here. But as for Mega Man 2 randomizer stuff, we do have quite a bit of events coming up between this weekend and the next for qualifier rounds. Tomorrow is going to be 80% zipless revealing stage names. So be sure to stay tuned to watch that. Or if you want to join us, feel free to hop on the Discord for the Mega Man 2 tournament Discord, Mega Man 2 randomizer tournament Discord, and we will gladly welcome you, sign up, and just simply have fun. All qualifiers are open to the public, so just feel free to drop in soon. And of course, keep tabs on the schedule as the qualifiers continues. But it's time for us to wrap things up here. To our runners here, Charlie Boy, Siberian Bull, Trevor Star, and Matt Ewok Curtis, who's still keeping pace. Keep your eyes on Ewok Curtis as he continues. Thank you for racing, and congratulations, Siberian Bull, for your victory.
Hey, thank you much. I'll be enjoying a burrito after this.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. GG's.
Hashtag victory.
Congrats on being the first to officially qualify. Just in case Creed didn't mention it, guys, we did end up rescheduling qualifier 1 to the final Sunday. So our original schedule, the final Sunday, April 11th, 3 p.m. was going to be the final race. Now we have one at 3 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. Yeah, make sure to tune into all those. Big shout outs to Siberian Bull for winning, Treble Star, myself, Matt Ewok for racing, LV Creed, and 2% Chungus in the background for comms and tracking. Of course, SpeedGaming for having us.
And of course, with that, this is your boy LV Creed. Continue to keep your eyes peeled on the SpeedGaming channel networks for the some Mega Man 2 randomizer qualifier stuff. And until then, good night, everyone. Take care.
Yep. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.
Peace out.